What's common between Meghan Markle and Wallis Simpson? Well, they both embarrassed the British royalty. Meghan Markle has brought to the surface what was just an underthought among the global audience about the perception of British royalty towards the people of colour and the sense of pride attached to the virginity of the bride to the British prince. Yes, it was once a requirement for a prospective bride to be a virgin to marry a royal prince, but thankfully not anymore. And not so surprisingly, Meghan Markle and Wallis Simpson, they both are divorced and American. But what sets Meghan Markle apart from Wallis Simpson is the mixed race Meghan has, unlike Wallis Simpson, who was the proud white American socialite. Well, wait, who was this pretty lady that drove a potential king crazy? Well, just like Prince Harry gave up all his royal titles on the accounts of his spouse Meghan Markle being ill-treated by the rest of British royalty, King Edward II, who was the king of the mighty British Empire in 1930s, abdicated the British throne in 1936 to marry a twice divorced American socialite, Wallis Simpson. And later, King Edward's brother, King George, sat on the throne and passed it on to his firstborn daughter, Queen Elizabeth. FYI, the erstwhile King Edward and his wife, Wallis Simpson, were Nazi sympathizers. क्या हो रहा है तेरे तक बाहर आकर चुपचाप इस तरह पढ़ो हो FYI, the erstwhile King Edward and his wife Wallis Simpson were Nazi sympathizers and even allegedly met Hitler before he embarked on the Holocaust. By the way, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth is still the head of the state of Canada and Australia, including many small island states, along with, of course, British Empire. British royalty faced media ire earlier as well when Princess Diana died. But this time, things aren't going to die down so easily as it did in the past. Prince Harry said in that infamous interview that racism was a large part of why the couple left the UK. They claimed that a member of the royal family raised concerns over how the color of the skin of the still unborn child to Meghan would be before he was even born. Markle went on to say that her treatment in the tabloids compared to that of Kate Middleton was racist. While the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have engaged with numerous anti-racism organizations and spoke openly about the death of George Floyd in the summer of 2020 that sparked the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Other members who represent the monarchy never spoke up about the Black Lives Matter movement. This is not entirely surprising. The royal family have been accused of turning a blind eye and in some instances even enabling racism. Since the early years of monarchy in Britain, for starters, the Queen Elizabeth I was connected to Britain's slave trade in 1500s. The monarch publicly supported Captain John Hawkins, who captured 300 African and exchanged them for hides, ginger and sugar in 1562. And current head of the state, Queen Elizabeth II, has never publicly acknowledged her ancestors' actions. Then there was this Abdul Karim, the Indian attendant of Queen Victoria. According to The Guardian, the royal household tried everything to displace him because of the color of the skin. They eventually succeeded in sending him back abruptly to India after the Queen's death, though some members of the royal family have taken accountability for their own racist behaviors in more recent years. In 2005, then 20-year-old Prince Harry angered the public and politicians after wearing a Nazi costume to a fancy dress party. In 2017, Princess Michael of Kent made a public apology after she was accused of wearing a racist brooch to the lunch with Meghan Markle. Meanwhile, the Queen's husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, is known for his controversial sense of humor and has often made remarks during royal engagements that landed him in hot waters. His tryst with bad racist slurs included telling the president of Nigeria that he looked like he was ready for bed when the president wore the national dress of Nigeria to meet Prince Philip in 2003, and compared Ethiopian art to the kind of things that his daughter would bring back from school at art lessons back in 1965. During a visit to China in 1986, he also told a British student that if he stayed much longer in China, he would go home with slitty eyes. In 1564, Queen Elizabeth I even contributed a vessel to Hawkins, the first non-Englishmen to include enslaved Africans as cargo. While Prince Charles previously acknowledged the appalling atrocity of slave trade and the unimaginable suffering it caused, the Queen has never publicly commented upon. The Church of England, which the Queen is the head of, actively perpetrated slavery and profited from it. Title of the head of the state is bestowed upon the firstborn descendants in each successive generation of the all-white royal family. A non-white person is therefore excluded from holding the title of head of the state, at least for the foreseeable future. This is what we call the institutional racism. Meghan Markle is the first member of the royal family known to be a mixed race. No member of the royal family ever condemned Meghan Markle's treatment by the British tabloids, which had a series of discriminatory articles which implied that the Duchess' hometown was gang scared and straight out of Compton. Compton is a town in California. It's basically a ghetto. Well, we all know how bad the royalties have been globally, including African and Indian royalties in their own sphere of influence. But having this kind of portrayal of racism in 21st century for their own family member, that too an unborn child, is chilling. And thank God Prince Harry came up and spoke up about it. Otherwise, who knows, he might have met with his mother-like assassination by a 007 of MI6. The West is infested with racism, and the Indian subcontinent is ailing from the casteism, and both these practices are a blot on the claims of creating an egalitarian society.